Yo! Welcome back to One More Mana. My name's Derek, and today I'm trying a little something new. So, Pulukrinos, the deck tech has just come out. I'm very, very excited about that, and there's so many new spicy deck techs coming for Theros Beyond Death, because there are some crazy looking commanders in this set. But in the meantime, it's something I want to do for sets going forward is just a little countdown of my favorite cards from this set. And nothing to do with sheer power level, just the cards I'm most excited to put into decks, and a little bit of why I am so excited for these cards. It's going to range from power level, I guess that can be a little bit involved, to art, to any different things of why I love cards and what I'm most excited for. And obviously I would love to see everybody in the comments down below, let me know what you're most excited for, especially for a set like this where there's so much coming. Before we get into it though, obviously I'm very excited about some of these cards. I've said that word like 7 times already. I really hope you are too. And if you are, please go down to the affiliate link below. And any cards you buy with that link will help support the channel, help us get out better content and more content. Some of these cards look ridiculous between the fancy lands, the extended frames, the alternate arts. My bank account is going to be struggling real hard when this set drops. But it looks so worth it. This set looks crazy. So yes, anything you get with that link will help us out tremendously. TCG Player is amazing. We really, really appreciate the help. So before I get too far into my own personal countdown, my own list, there's a couple honorable mentions that are super broken that I want to kind of briefly mention. There's some potentially format warping cards, more so with CEDH from what I've heard about Thassa's Oracle. This card is bonkers. I feel like this is one of those cards that either will get banned or be just such a huge staple. This little merfolk monster is about to be ending so many competitive games. I don't understand much about CEDH, but I do know that Labman is a huge win con, and this just seems like a better Labman. It is ridiculous. So much of it can be done at instant speed because the ability goes in the stack, so it's even harder to get rid of because with Labman you can kill it. I don't know. Again, I don't pretend to understand it, but I do know that this card is insane. So yeah, it's going to be a problem. The next one is Underworld Breach. Now these next two are kind of going more towards the casual crowd. Underworld Breach seems, and again, I may be reading some of this wrong, it seems like a more powerful Yawgmoth's Will. Because it's so easy to fill your graveyard up. I've literally read this card like 30 times, and every time I'm waiting for that line of text that I missed, because there has to be something missing, because it just seems so strong for 2 mana. It's an enchantment. It itself is easy to go ahead and recur because you sack it, but it doesn't say anything about exiling it. It seems ridiculous. It seems way, way powerful, and I'm still waiting for the downside every time I read this card. So definitely let me know what I've been blatantly missing in the comments down below. But if not, wow, this card is insane. And then the last honorable mention, again, just for these cards I feel like have to be mentioned with this set because of how powerful they are. The last one was Nyx Bloom Ancient. I kind of teased my fear for this card in the Pulukrinos deck tech, and I'm genuinely kind of terrified. Now, on the positive side, I love Villainous Wealth. It's one of my favorite cards in the world to cast, and I love my Tasigur Villainous Wealth deck. And with, Tasigur, Delve, you can get them out pretty quick. And if you Neoform or Birthing Pod a Tasigur, you can go straight into a Nyx Bloom Ancient. This sets up so many. I mean, obviously, there's probably crazy combo things, but in my little mind, I'm just thinking about Villainous Wealth when I see big mana, and all that means to me is turn 4 or 5, maybe 6, you can just Villainous Wealth a quarter, a half of someone's deck so fast. And obviously, you untap with this card, and it's basically you better be winning. You better be in a situation to have access to that much mana where you're going to win the game. You got to work on your deck building skills, essentially. This card seems so bonkers. I'm really hoping it is an overreaction. I'm hoping it's not quite as powerful as it's being made out to be, because I would love to run this in decks, but it might be just one of those cards that's so just overly powerful that it kind of takes away from the fun of winning with it, because it's just, yeah, of course you're going to win. You just play the Nyx Bloom Ancient. So we'll see how it works, but very cautiously optimistic, but also terrified at the same time. So now getting into my actual top 5, my personal top 5, the cards I love the most. And at number 5, we're going to have Hydra's Growth. Hydra's Growth is such a cool card. As someone who loves +1 counter synergy decks, Marith is an awesome, awesome card. I've loved playing Azuri Claw of Progress. I've loved playing Simic Merfolk with +1 counters, and it's just, +1 counters just have a very fun effect. You get cards like a Forgotten Ancient, all these different things where you can just stack +1 counters. Now, there are commanders like Varel that do let you double, but to have this little cheap enchantment that you can throw on Hydras if you want to do it, if you just want to throw it on your Forgotten Ancient and all of a sudden just go off with all these +1 counters, Hydra's Growth is going to lead to a lot of big, dumb, fun turns, and it's at the uncommon slot. It's a card I'm really excited for because, I mean, I guess you could see it in its name, Hydra's Growth. You throw this on some Hydras, smash some people in the face, have some fun. It just seems like a big, dumb, fun EDH card, and 3 CMC to double +1 counters, it's not a bad rate at all. At number 4, I have Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Now, this is a card that, as a commander, I actually find kind of boring. It's a little too straightforward for me. It reminds me of a slightly more fair version of Chulane at first glance. And spoiler, I'm not a fan of Chulane, so I don't necessarily like it as a commander because it's just play, draw, play land. It's very linear and kind of just you win just by playing. It doesn't, I don't know. I don't like the play pattern that a card like this has as a commander. But in the 99, I love it. I love having graveyard synergizing decks. Not necessarily a full-on graveyard deck like a Marin or a Carador, but I love decks that can just incidentally, use the fact that stuff has been sent to your graveyard. I just referred to my Tasigur deck, and Uro is going straight into my Tasigur deck because this is just going to be a phenomenal card. Just to be able to have something to always spend mana on, exile some cards you don't want, and just keep bringing it out as this ramp and card draw engine. This card just seems super fun in the 99 because it can supplement those unique play patterns or deck builds that you're working on. It's a very powerful ramp and card draw engine which every deck needs, as opposed to being at the head of a deck where it kind of just does the things for you and doesn't really force you to work too hard outside of it. And number 3 on my list, I'm on a Titan run right now, and I'm going to stick with Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. I love the Titan cycle in general. I was actually kind of disappointed when I got 2. I'm excited about the potential of getting more. I love them so much from a lore perspective. They just seem like these huge, menacing, awesome beings. The art is beautiful on both of them, and that right by itself, being able to get an extended art, beautiful version of this card already makes me want to build it, regardless of the effect. But what I love about Kroxa, even more so than Uro, is that with Kroxa, you get this effect that really leaves you so open-ended. Obviously, it leads you toward this discard theme, but I love commanders like this that you really need to work to get to go. Now, just playing this by itself, yeah, you make people discard cards, you can make people lose some life, but you need a lot of support. The way I would love to build a deck like this, and the way I see it, is actually a weird version of using like group hug card draw with your discard. So instead of just crippling everyone and everyone just being mad at you because they're discarding all their cards, using wheel effects and group draw with your discard so everyone can still have cards to play Magic, but still forcing them to discard huge amounts of cards so you get all those awesome discard effects with cards like Magrim and different things like that that you normally see in discard decks. So you're not trying to resource deny everybody, but you're still trying to get the benefits of this discard, reanimate all their big stuff, and have a good time. I think there's a way to build Kroxa that isn't this just crippling deck style, and that is just a fun, creates a fun group dynamic with a lot of stuff going on. Because that's been the biggest problem. I love the concept of a discard deck, but every time I play against one, I'm not in a good mood. I'm just miserable because all my cards are going to the graveyard. So I think kind of this group huggy mixed with, I don't know, it's got some work on it. But just that concept of getting into that brewing mindset of doing something I haven't done with another deck before really excites me, and it's why I love Kroxa so much, in addition to its just amazing art. At number 2, we have another legendary creature from the set, and this is my personal favorite, and it is Arasta, the Endless Web. Specifically, the art I'm putting up here, this alternate art is beautiful. I mean, both arts look really nice, but this alternate art is beautiful. I absolutely love it. I'm a sucker for token decks. The vast majority of decks I play are all token decks, or at least use token sub-themes within them. And oh my gosh, I love spider tokens. Now, I tried to play Ishkanah for a long time, and some fun versions of the deck. Kind of disappointed it's only green. I would have loved for this to have been Golgari. Golgari would have been perfect, but beggars can't be choosers. And being mono green spiders still seems super fun, because every time people are casting stuff, just pile on the spiders, pile on the spiders. They got reach. It's really good protection for yourself. Throw in all those other just flavorful spiders in there. Deck seems like it's going to be a really good time. I love this commander. I love playing under supported tribes. And yeah, mono green spiders isn't the ideal color combination, but when the commander looks this cool, and you can essentially just make an army with all the instants and sorceries people are casting, I love it. Love it. And what I love about Arasta as well is I obviously seem very excited about Spider Tribal, but nowhere on her card does it say Spider Tribal on it. There's nothing about that cares specifically about you having other spiders. So you can use this as a huge token engine in just a regular green token deck, and a lot of token decks are green, so there's a lot of decks that are going to love this. And then number one on this list, kind of a theme with the art, but I also just love what it does, and it's Ashiok Nightmare Muse. And this is obviously specifically that alternate full art version. Oh my gosh, that is very few times when I'm looking at, especially really magic art, like I get really excited about it, but not many times do I just have to stop and stare at something. And when I first saw this art revealed, I literally just stopped and stared. I was just in awe. It is so beautiful. And one of the reasons why I love Ashiok so much is the fact that it has the utility on top of just awesome flavor. You have this beautiful art, and that plus ability is just the whole concept of Ashiok creating these nightmares that's exiling people's libraries just slowly over time. Like their nightmares are just causing them to go crazy and their libraries are disappearing. I love it. It is phenomenal. It's everything I love about Commander, and it just makes me so happy. And on top of all that, though, you have that minus ability that can act as removal. You can bounce something, make an opponent discard, or exile actually something from their hand. So it has really good utility as a removal spell at its worst, essentially, because you minus it, somebody can go kill it. But what I just love so much is the fact that you get both. You get the flavor, you get the utility, and you get that awesome art with it. Yeah, the Ashiok Nightmare Muse is my favorite card from the set, and one I'm hoping, based on pre-sale prices, that this alternate art version goes down a little bit, because I want this in a lot of decks. So those are my personal favorite cards in this set. I would love to hear what y'all think. What are your favorite cards? There are so many good options, but I was looking through the list when I had to pick 5. It's tough. Even in the uncommon slot, there's so many cool cards, and I honestly see a lot of cards in this set just automatically getting slotted into some of my decks. So I'm very, very excited. Let me know which legendary creatures you're most excited about. At this point, I've got like 80% of a deck together for essentially every legendary creature in this set. So I'm very, very excited to finish some of these up and get these decks out, because yeah, they put some spice in here, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. As always, a huge shout out and thank you to all the patrons. We love and appreciate y'all so, so much. I hope everyone is enjoying the Underworld of Theros. Got some crazy, crazy spicy deck techs coming up. But until then, I will see y'all next time.